Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the initial hiccup. I think our friends over there in AV team was struggling to get my deck, and I was trying to recover it from the laptop. So it took a couple of minutes to do that. As you can see in the slide, my name is Kushal Chatterjee. I am a software professional to begin with, and then have done multiple different gigs in bigger companies, and now I am a founder of a own enterprise. I call that a GroundZero Innovative Solutions, where I work as a CTO. And I'm here to talk about financial inclusion and how technology can influence financial inclusion or enable financial inclusion. Can I go to the next slide? So that's a small bio about myself, and just to give you a picture of why I'm interested about financial inclusion, and I'll talk about financial inclusion in a second. So my role has been as a software engineering leader, where I've worked in different technology company, working for finances and financial technologies, and that's where I found my passion. Later on, I found my own, founded my own company, GroundZero Solutions. And I'm also pursuing a doctorate in leadership, which kind of motivated me to talk about it and think about it and explore financial inclusion. So I'm going to quickly go over to the next slide. So that's about some of the companies that I've worked in and kind of my profile. Moving on to the next one. Oops. So there is a terminology that's getting very popular in the business world as well as in the academics, which is called grand societal challenge. Anybody heard about it? Sounding mumbo jumbo? That's fine, no worries. It always does. So basically what it means is we have few problems that is quite complex, that is multi-level, that has got multi-dimension and requires everybody to come up to solve it. And when I say everybody, I mean people like you and me, the government, the community, the world, everybody, right? And that is called grand societal challenge. And you can Google it up in the internet, you'll find, people are talking about it. Now, quick Q&A. Any example that comes to your mind? Anybody can talk about it? I'm sure you know many of them, but it's just that doesn't ring a bell right now. Any wild guess? There's a problem. Yeah. Sorry? Yeah, homelessness. There you go. There you go. Anybody else? No? There you go. There you go. Access to technology. Yeah, there you go. And I think the access to technology has a lot to do with the financial inclusion. That'll come to that, and I think that is what the topic that I want to bring in. But you guys are bang on. Yes, sir. Not being intimidated by technology. Yeah, I mean, that's creative. But yeah, I mean, I think that could be. I think there are a few more, which is very prominent in current age. And I've got a couple of examples here. So global warming. It's not just me and you, it's everybody needs to, because it has got a lot of different implications and things like that. Poverty. Like a huge population of the world today, even with all the richness, lives under the poverty line, right? Climate change, quite complex, multidimensional, requires everybody to chime in, pitch in to, solve it. So that's a good segue. So financial inclusion is actually a grand societal challenge. Me and you can contribute to it, but it takes a village to solve a problem. There is a saying, right? And I think, financial inclusion is one of those grand societal challenge which will require everybody to come and join hands. What is it really? Like, okay, grand societal challenge and all these big terminologies are great, but what exactly it is, right? So it's basically a problem where people do not have access or tools in their hand to do payments, transactions, savings, credit, and insurance. And as you can see that, if you cannot do payments or transactions, like think about a world where Amazon does not exist today. Think about a world where Stripe or Venmo or PayPal does not exist. Think about a world when you don't have access to basic healthcare. Think about a world where you don't have a credit card or a car insurance or any type of insurance. That is a financial inclusion, right? Now you can tell, why are we speaking about it? I have all of these. Well, there is more than half of the population of entire world does not have all of these or some of these. So that's why it's a grand societal challenge, is because it is so common these days that people like us who live in the modern world, in the advanced world, cannot even think about it, but a significant population is suffering from it. Either they do not have payments, or there is way where they cannot have saved their fund, or there is no way to invest somewhere. They do not have an access to the bank account. They do not have access to the credit card and insurance. I'll show some numbers on how many people suffer today for some of these things, but that is what is called a financial inclusion. It takes a village to do it. I don't think you and me or the people here can solve the problem, but we can surely contribute it through our work, through our research, through our influence in the industry and all. Okay? Let's move on to the next slide. Oh, it's here. Sorry, I keep saying I have got this. So let's talk about how technology is changing the equation, right? I mean, financial inclusion, okay, everybody understood the problem. Now we know what is financial inclusion. How technology can help there. Mobile money. I mean, many of you have used probably Lyft and Uber to come here. And you use your credit card or a PayPal or something like that to pay right there, right? You can do Venmo or Stripe or PayPal and things like that. So it's changing the way how people transact and giving the access whenever it is needed. There's a lot of talk about cognitive AI. The AI is detecting different ways of finding analytics on the stock exchange, how better you can save stuff, right? There is a lot of risk modeling where you are doing credit card transactions and bank and etc., where AI comes into picture and they predict the way that could save you more money or help you prevent fraud and things like that, right? Cyber security, like anything with the technology you do today, forget about financial inclusion, anything for that matter, cyber security becomes very important. There is a disruptive technology which is very common in these days, which is called blockchain. And by blockchain, I just don't mean Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is just one aspect of the blockchain. There is a whole lot of research and development that's happening. Many startups are coming in front and working on Web 3.0 technology. They're working on security through blockchain. The health networks have the blockchain's imprint. They're doing bio-identification through blockchain. So that's another disruption that's happening across the technology world, and financial inclusion is definitely getting help there. Digital banking, I think every one of us uses it. Credit, saving, any type of account digitally, right? Bio-authentication, your retina authentications, your finger swipe, right? I don't know if anybody has an Indian origin here. I could see some ladies over there, right? Now the Aadhaar card in India, people are doing bio-authentication. And once you do that, it becomes easy for people to get a bank account or a savings account or a credit card, right? So this is where the technology is coming to directly impact financial inclusion. And it's a good thing. I think UN and World Bank are saying that they have seen a lot of awareness in last 5 to 10 years compared to the previous decade, where people are becoming more aware. And one of the prominent factors is technology, right? So, okay, great. I mean, is it really enough? Like the age that we live in, is it really enough? I mean, technology is doing great. We have so many applications and so many technologies that are changing the world and impacting financial inclusion. But just to motivate you on how big the problem statement we're talking about, so World Bank has 17 sustainable development goals, and I'm not going to talk about the sustainable development goals here, but you can look it up. Some of them, the examples I talked about, a majority of them can be solved if we can enable financial inclusion. And you'll say how? Like let's take good health. How are you going to have good health if you cannot pay for the money, or if you do not have a medical insurance, right? How are you going to have a quality education if you can't pay for your student's loan? How are you going to have zero poverty if people live in hunger and they do not have monies to save and pay for the food? So World Bank constantly talks about some of these sustainable goals and constantly talk about that financial inclusion actually is going to help. Just to give you some number, 1.7 billion adults as of today have no access to the formal financial institutions. Like people here, we can't even imagine a world where you cannot go to the bank, or you do not have a credit card, or you do not have health insurance, right? But there is 1.7 billion people across the world who do not have any of these. So that's the extent of the problem we're talking about, right? Now let's talk about the modern world. Let's talk about the most advanced country. We know that the credit system, the US credit system is one of the metrics of our healthy finance, right? I mean, if you do not have a good credit score, you are considered, oh, you are not, like, you're probably not financially capable, right? That's the thing that goes into our socio-economic structure. You'd be surprised that 100 million of people of this country suffer from bad credit or no credit at all. And 100 million is about 1/3 of US's population. So they cannot get a mortgage, they cannot get a credit card, they cannot get an auto loan, they cannot get anything to do with credit because they do not have credit score or have a bad credit score. 131 million small businesses in emerging markets. And by emerging markets, I mean Africa, Asia Pacific, Latin America, do not have access to finance or financial institutions. So even with the technological thing it's revolution that's going on and whatever disruption is going on, this problem is still there. And that is the magnitude of the problem, and we can talk about it in the numbers, etc., more and more. But I'm gonna just give the motivation to the people here that we all have a responsibility to help out, and you don't need to be technologists to solve financial inclusion. And the place here is, you might be already doing it. I mean, people here might be coming from finances, banks, marketing. You might be helping in an indirect way, so just know your presence and know your contribution to it. And if you do your work well, you might be solving somebody else's life, right? And let's try to innovate. Let's try to think different ways. There are many startups that are coming in, and I hope that I could meet some of the entrepreneurs here where we can talk about ideas and innovate more. And lastly, from the monetary perspective, it's a huge business opportunity. Like, think about if 1.7 billion people needs financial inclusion, any business mind would think how much money I can get out of it. If you build an application where you are providing financial access to maybe 1 million people, that itself is a very well-running business. So it's a huge opportunity for all of us to crack that problem and at the same time be part of making an impact to the community, and at the same time make money and fortune. With that, I'm going to end. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a pleasure being here.